Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the Average AF Podcast with your hosts,
Yeah.
Adam McElroy and Stephen Harden.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Hey
dope.
guys, welcome to the Average AF Podcast. This is episode 41.
41.
I am here with Steve as always,
Yes.
and this is actually our second video on YouTube.
Second.
So I'm pretty proud of that. We did just post our first one about 4 days ago, and we got 162 views already, which I'm pretty
It's
proud
phenomenal.
of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I think we've gained like 20 subscribers
Yes.
since then. So shout out to
Yes.
everybody.
Each and every one of you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
2 days left on the giveaway.
Yes.
By the time you see this,
Yep.
by the way, you can cancel anytime after Saturday, May 9th. You can either lower or you can cancel your tier altogether, but you know you want these koozies.
Yep. These koozies
these.
just
Look at-
came in.
look at-
Check them out.
Let me just show you what they look like.
Trying out that autofocus feature. But yeah, koozies came in. Lanyards and wristbands will
Yes.
be here this week.
On the way.
Yep, they are in production. But yeah, just $5 on our Patreon. Sign up now, and then you can cancel again in like 3 days by the time this comes out. So
No problems.
so
Help us
super-
out. Help us help you.
Yep, super thrilled about that.
Yes, yes.
But anyway, man, how's your week been?
Work. You know, the stimulus check started coming out with I got mine like almost 3 weeks ago,
Yeah. So
but people are still obviously getting them because we can't keep shit in the store. So,
okay.
yeah, it's just been nuts. And then people coming in, it's getting nice. People wanting to get fishing licenses and stuff like that.
Okay.
Selling
Yep.
a lot of those. That's really about it. Same old stuff there, man.
Just work.
Yeah, I can feel more of the tension though with it getting warm and people just wanting to be out. I felt
Yeah.
like half the people there.
Right.
And I felt I seen a very interesting post on Facebook, and I was guilty of it too. I was judging everybody that was coming in and buying flowers and like that's not essential. What the fuck are you doing? Put that down.
Right.
Like get out of here. You don't, if I get sick because you want to come out and just leisurely shop, but then you never know. Somebody, what if they use that to, what if, for example, they used to be an alcoholic and one of their biggest triggers was being alone.
Right.
And they're just trying to take their mind off of that.
You never know,
man.
man.
Exactly. You just never know.
You
So
never
over
know.
time, I've just come to not judge, no matter what they're buying. You never know what
Right.
it could be the reason they're not in jail.
Definitely a mental health type thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep people busy. Yep.
I try to keep that in mind while I'm there and dealing with the public like that. Apparently, things have started to open up. I never got a clear answer.
I don't know.
I heard something about some of the like manufacturing jobs and stuff like that. It's supposed to open in phases though. But I heard the gym was supposed to open back up before the month was over. So I guess that assumes that if cases don't spike tremendously crazy in a few weeks, we'll slowly start to have everything back. But even then, there'll be strict guidelines, which I don't even know what that's going to end up like. My place of employment specifically talked about requiring people to wear masks inside the store.
Yep.
Then I heard, we're just going to offer them, but it's not mandatory. Because honestly, I guess you can refuse entry, but you can't make people.
I think DeWine was at first making it like mandatory masks in public.
Right.
And then like everybody was like, fuck you, dude. Like, no. And then like 24 hours later, he's like, it's just a recommendation.
Got
so
you. Okay.
I think that was the confusion there for like a day.
Honestly, I don't feel like the masks do a huge deal. I mean, obviously, if somebody's coughing, somebody's going to point them out and let them know, like, hey,
Right.
you ain't got that shit, right? You know what I mean? Like, it'll be pretty obvious,
Right.
If somebody's doing a bunch of coughing that, people are going to stay away. People aren't dumb.
Right.
So if that's the biggest reason we're wearing the mask is to protect us from the droplets that come out when people, And then I read something anyway that 6 feet isn't even really enough to really. So, you know what I mean? Whatever, man.
There's just so much.
There is, and it's
Like-
just frustrating to even think about. And the fact that, let's say they do open the restaurants up and you want to go sit at Applebee's, and they have a limit of like 12 people because they have to physically distance, and then you're sitting in a queue, you know, and you're hungry now, you know, like it might cause more problems.
Right. Well, yeah, I said last week,
you know,
that like restaurants opening back up's like one thing that I want to do like right away.
Right.
I'm probably not going to, man, just because, like you said, I mean, there's probably going to be a wait everywhere.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
everywhere,
packed.
all the time.
And then you got to think, like, if the shit's really as bad as they say it is, one person in there, like, say the hostess has coronavirus.
Right.
She's just going to give it to every single person that walks through the door. So,
right.
I don't know. I might just chill out for another week or two after that's done.
Man.
But
I think
we'll
a lot
see.
of the fear is the asymptomatic thing.
Right.
Is the fact that, you know, there's people out here who had it that had showed no symptoms, which is unbelievable compared to the people that, you know, died.
Right.
Like, how do you have both ends of the spectrum from one singular source? You know, it's just weird, man.
Can we change the topic? We do this every week. I can't stand
but that's
it.
my week. That's my week for the most part.
For me, man, I mean, similar thing. We're all obviously going through this, but working from home, I ended up taking a day off Friday, which was super nice. It was like my first day off basically since I started this new job.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was super nice, man. And then actually Thursday night, you know, when it was like 40 degrees and raining and shit, that was the last night we had our storage unit.
Okay.
Which is fine. Except I had a motorcycle that I had to ride home.
Ooh.
Yeah, in the 40 degrees and the rain.
Oh.
And guess what? There's a pandemic that people are afraid of, people that cough. And I just picked up like a cold, basically, from doing that. So I've been like self-conscious, trying not to cough in public.
Right.
Because I'm like, I'm going to get my ass beat or some shit. Like,
right.
I actually coughed in the drive-thru the other day.
You
not
can't
even
do
think
it.
about it.
You can't even do it. Even one good
I'm
cough.
about to cough right now, for real. But yeah, I coughed in the drive-thru, and then like the chick gave me my food or whatever. I don't think she noticed.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted to see her face if she noticed.
Right.
Because I didn't think about it.
Right.
You know, I just
until after the fact.
Right. I coughed, and then I was like, fuck.
Right.
Like,
yeah, one good one though. Like you'll get a look for sure every single time. Every single time. Which people cough. We're fucking humans.
Right.
They're like, you know, that does not mean, you know.
Yeah, I had to ride a motorcycle home at like 8 p.m., 40 degrees, raining.
Ooh.
You know, I had my hoodie like over my face, like this, trying to not like freeze to death.
You made it all right, it seems though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the bike home, you know.
Nice. Right.
I was gonna go for a ride today, but I need to charge the battery more. But not the point. But yeah, I mean, regular stuff. Back to the same grind tomorrow, man. So
all right.
It is what it is. But let's go ahead and get into the episode here. What we want to talk about. We got a couple different things on the agenda today. Just things that we kind of brought up right when Steve got here. I mean, none of this is like pre-planned basically ever.
Yeah. Not anymore.
But I wanted to talk about red flags because I think that's just an interesting topic. About like what you can stand, what you can't, and things like that. And now that I'm saying this out loud, it's probably going to make us/me seem like an asshole.
No, I got some shit too that people were going to be like, that's petty. Do
you want to start then? What's
sure.
At least one or however you want to do it. What's some of your red flags?
So the three I have wrote down, I'm going to say after the one that just came to my head.
Okay.
I'm going to call it a pet peeve. A pet peeve of mine is I'm not a clean freak by any means. Not a clean freak. My house is pretty clean right now because I had all the time in the world to do it. Otherwise, when life gets busy, I have dishes in my sink. My bed's not made. You might catch a crumb or two on the floor, but you're not going to catch like full plates just sitting around and things like that. That is like probably if I get in your car or go to your house and it just smells, and I understand, like I go home some days and I'm like, God damn, my trash can.
Right.
Like, oh my God, what's in there? It may not be full, But I'm like, damn, I'm surprised I didn't smell that when I woke up this morning.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it could be that one thing. I can go to your house or I can get in your car. If there's an awful stench, I'm automatically just like, oh, no. No,
I'm
like
out.
you're probably not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm the type to, I've lived with several roommates, you being one of them. And if there's a space that we both share, and let's say there's a mess there, and they made the mess, I can't let it sit longer than a day or two. It just bugs me. There's something about it. It may not affect my day at all, any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But if it's in my living space and we share that space, I'm probably gonna, but I'm the type to not say anything about it. I'll just clean it up.
I was gonna say you probably got mad at me a lot then.
Yeah, you had, yeah, actually thinking about it. Yeah. But there wasn't a lot of spaces that we shared.
Right.
Honestly, we shared the living room.
Right.
We kept that pretty much.
Right.
I mean, the kitchen, I cooked.
I ate out all the time.
Yeah, but you didn't make dishes, so it wasn't like a big deal there. You know what I mean? I guess the biggest thing would be the animal thing.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, no, I've seen worse, dealt with worse, and it's just if you don't clean up after yourself, I understand we are adults, life gets busy.
Right.
But you need to make an effort and make time to clean. And like I said, I'm not a clean freak. I don't need to even be able to lick the counter when you're done cleaning, and not get sick. Like I just, the stench has got to go and it's got to look presentable. I like a space where anybody can come over. So you can knock on my door, even though I don't ever come to my house unannounced.
Yeah.
That's the biggest way to get.
Nope.
But I like to keep my place in the position where, if anybody comes over at any time of the day, I don't have to worry about, be frantic and running around and trying to pick up things, So that's one of them. The other three are a little deeper.
Okay.
The first one being your work history. I feel like your work history says a lot about you.
Okay.
As far as the type of jobs that you've had, what you strive to do, what you strive to be, where you're going. If you tell me like, you're 30 years old and you've worked only fast food joints your whole life, I'm probably gonna think that you're not much of a ambitious person. I love ambition. I feel like I'm ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to be with somebody that way too. And if you tell me, I'm 30, but I've only had 2 jobs and I worked at those for a year and a half apiece, but I got kids.
That shit doesn't add up.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm gonna have a bunch of questions, and maybe on the first date or so, you probably shouldn't. Maybe, but I'm definitely in the back of my mind, I'll be like, well, "What the fuck is going on?"
I'm gonna slide that in the questions a little later.
Right.
I almost put that, man, like kind of differently, but like being lazy.
Okay.
Like
that. Yeah, that has a. I feel like the work history says, like I said, a whole lot about you.
Yeah, it's a big difference, but like I want somebody who's chill, but not lazy.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? Like
that.
it's because I
That's
think I'm like one of the most chill people, but as far as like the podcast and business and whatever, like
you get it in.
Yeah, like I'm on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's a passion or whatever. Right. But even if you're not, I guess to me making money, like everybody should make money, you know, and have a job. But if you have a passion and you are all in on it, I can respect that at least. You know what I mean? I almost put that in mind, but
yeah, like you said, it's a huge difference between being chill and being lazy. Yeah, you can be chill and not lazy. That's possible. You can definitely do that. So another one, my second one that I got is the number of kids you have in relation to your age.
Okay. I thought it was going to be something way different.
I want to know what you thought then. But
baby daddies.
That was the second half of that.
Right. Okay.
Or, I put a number on it. If you have more than 2, that's a flag to me.
Okay. Oh, more than 2? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 2, that's common, 2, honestly. Yeah. That's pretty common, really, when I think about it. More than 2?
1 is fine. 2 is like, okay, but it's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I would have questions about that too, probably. Right. Anything more than that, I'm pretty much going to be like, and at that point, I don't know what age I would be cool with if you had 3 baby daddies. Maybe 50, and they better be like, you know what I mean? But anything under, 40, 35, I'm gonna have some. Yeah,
So-
I don't know, man.
Actually, now that you brought that up, it made me think. It used to be one of my like red flags or deal breakers, like pretty much a deal breaker in general. It's obviously different now that I'm a parent.
Yeah.
But I was always weird about thinking about raising somebody else's kids.
Oh wow.
So like if you already had a kid, I was
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
But it's obviously different now. That was
Right.
me when I was younger and stuff. But
Right.
but yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. I mean, I've grown out of that, but it was definitely like a borderline automatic deal breaker at the time.
Wow.
But I mean, I was 20,
You eliminated a lot of women early.
Yes.
Early.
and then I found out how many women are
Yeah.
left,
Yeah,
and it's just
it
like,
ain't that many.
all right, come on,
It ain't
come
that
on,
many.
what's up?
I was never dead set against like raising somebody else's child. But I would like to have my own.
Right,
I couldn't do that, and
and only that.
yeah, exactly. It would be very tough for me to raise somebody else's kid as my own and not truly have my own.
Right,
Because no matter how much we felt it and how much we said it, how much they call me dad.
there's a slight difference
Right.
at least.
Right. Because you don't have that, that blood bond, I guess,
Right.
is what you're saying,
Right.
Not that I've never been against it. I know people that do it, and that's commendable, especially I get along great with kids. I don't feel like it'd be hard for me, especially if they're, wonderful kids. But yeah, that would be something that would be hard for me to, spend my life with somebody else and their kid and never have
Right.
like truly our own kid.
Right.
And and that raises more questions too. Like, I don't know, like a lot of things I don't realize I would do until I'm in that situation.
Fair.
And I wouldn't think so, but maybe I would eventually be more biased toward my own kid with my own blood.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I would think not, but
Right.
I don't know. When shit hit the fan, maybe so. That's
Yeah.
just something that,
I'm-
we'll have to.
I'm a firm believer that, you don't know how you're going to react in a situation until you're there.
Yeah.
You can talk all day
All
and
day long.
you might be right,
Right.
but
Right.
it's not going to be the same as when it happens.
Right.
So,
True enough, man.
and did you have one more?
I did.
Okay.
My third one is your vocabulary.
Yeah.
I think your vocabulary says a lot about you.
Now I say bruh all the time.
That's not what I mean.
Okay.
What I mean is your inability to express yourself without saying bitch, damn, fuck, ass, shit, motherfucker.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? That type of, I cuss all the time, obviously. But I also have a fucking vocabulary.
Right.
Like,
I have
you know what I
alternate
mean?
words.
Yeah,
I just picked these ones.
Yes, they mean more in some
Right.
instances. But when I need to be concise or when I need to get to the point or when I need to express feelings that are, not clear cut and dry, I can do that.
Right.
A lot of people can't, man. A
Right.
lot of people, they just hide behind something else, whether it be anger or, blame or whatever that may be. I don't appreciate somebody I can't go to and be real with. And, either you don't know how to say what you want to say. At least
Right.
give it a shot. I understand that,
Right.
at least give it a shot.
That was my always thing. Like women in general. This is who I've experienced it with. It's with everybody, but
Yeah.
they've been like, I don't know how to say it, or I don't want to say it wrong.
Yes,
said,
you do.
Well, I said,
Yes, you do.
just say it. Like
Right.
I understand now. You're in a situation where you don't know how to say it correctly,
Right.
which is fine.
Right.
But I need you to say it, and then we'll work out the kinks of
Right.
what you actually mean.
Right.
So,
Right. Yep.
that kind of definitely resonates with me for sure.
Yeah.
It's not on my list. It probably should have been on my list, but you kind of mentioned it, is people that like shut down
Yeah.
in situations, whether it's verbally or actions or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be with somebody who, when shit hits the fan, you shut down. I can't be with that. Like, we got to figure out a game plan and go. Like, whether it's a shitty game plan or whatever the fuck, but
Right.
we're not going to be sitting in this corner
Right.
like crying. That's
Right.
not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
that's not on my list. It probably should have been.
I feel that.
But I definitely can't be with somebody who shuts down either verbally or with actions or whatever.
Yeah.
My first one is, I'm just going to say it. My first one is needing approval.
Ooh. Go into that. Elaborate, please.
So I understand it's important for pretty much everybody to have people like back up their decisions and kind of things like that. I guess
Affirmation.
yeah. Not well. Yeah. Yes and no. It's hard to explain. Like, so I just hate people that say something like, "Oh, so and so said I did a good job today."
Okay.
Like with you, with the expectation of you going like, "Oh yeah, you're so great."
Oh, okay.
You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
Right.
Or like a look at me, like, you know, I got this award today,
Right.
and in a way of needing that feeling reciprocated.
Right.
Not
right.
like, look at this accomplishment, like that's dope. It's
Right.
like, hey, look what I did.
Right.
You like it, right?
Right.
It's cool, right?
Waiting for you to.
Do you agree with it?
Right.
Like,
Right. That's
I just-
something I expect my 10-year-old son to do.
exactly. That's
Not a grown ass woman.
right. That's my thing. I just need a, you know, a grown woman, really. I
Right.
don't need somebody who needs, you know, approval or anything like that. I've always said I want somebody who wants me but doesn't need me.
Oh,
Like
well said.
heavy. Like I if something happens and like we break up or whatever, I want you to be like, all right, bitch, later. Like,
yeah.
I'm out. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like,
yeah.
all right, it's like that then.
It's hard not to respect that.
Right. You know what I mean?
It's
But
hard not to respect
that's
that.
the type of person I want to
Right.
where like it's like, all right,
Right.
I'll show you you're wrong or whatever, you know, like
Right.
that's fine.
Right.
But
you fucked up. I'm gonna show
right.
you. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I need somebody like that.
Right.
But yeah, needing approval or affirmation or, you know, things like that. I understand, you know, naturally it might happen a little bit here and there. And everybody needs their boyfriend to be like, "Oh, you're great," and
Yeah.
you know, things like that. But when you're asking me to tell you you're great without asking me,
Right.
fuck
Right.
off. Like
Right. Right. That's not supporting you. That is, yeah.
that's feeding your ego.
yes.
And I don't
Yes.
want to be with somebody who needs their ego fed.
Yes.
I guess
Yes.
is
Or
another way to put
You
that.
need me to build your self esteem
Right.
through, you
Right.
know, yeah.
Your self-esteem already needs to be established for me.
Right.
And then I come along and I'm a plus or whatever and
Right.
the relationship's a bonus, but
Right.
I need you to be you already.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
I could be a dick for that, but that's just me.
I think that's fair. I really do.
Good.
I really do, man.
I appreciate that. The next two kind of go hand in hand.
Okay.
They're less serious, but also somewhat real.
Okay.
And they're on both sides of the spectrum.
Oh,
So it's a fun one.
all right.
So I'm basically, for those who don't know me, I'm generally speaking like a pretty liberal person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Pretty left wing, like,
Yeah.
you know, you can have your guns and whatever. And, you know, I like guns too and, you know, whatever.
Right.
But generally speaking, pretty left wing. I hate social justice warriors.
Ooh.
I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them.
Ooh.
Shut up.
So okay, here's my question.
Okay.
So you saying you can't be with a fully right-winged Republican? You don't ever see that happening.
Well, that was the other side of the coin.
Okay.
Was my other one, because that's a pretty leftist thing as a social justice warrior. It's basically as left as you can go.
Right.
I also don't think I would ever be with a Trump supporter. Now, if you start, a lot of people just closed the video.
You know, I have my opinions of you all.
So, well, like, yeah, if you started supporting Trump, that's fine. But to this day, after everything, like,
God.
if you are still supporting him, and I guess I should preface, like, or, you know, say that if you're supporting him and don't acknowledge the shit that he said or done or whatever, like, that's where it is. If you support him and you're like, yeah, he's kind of a dick and he shouldn't have said that and he's kind of dumb here, but he's my best option, okay, I guess, whatever. But if you're just like, no, he's great, and, you know, I use hashtag Trump 2020 on a lot of posts just to upset people.
Man. You know, my mother-in-law, thankfully, she probably never see this or hear this. She's Trump supporter.
My whole family is.
I wish you wouldn't have told me that.
I know.
But it is what it is, right? That's why I don't talk politics at work. Because my opinion of people would change.
Right.
Like, I like you a lot, but the moment you,
Right.
like, if so-and-so told me, I'm like, what?
Right.
Like, I don't know if I could talk to you as much now.
It's a big difference.
Like, you know what I mean?
And it kind of goes along with like how people handled the corona thing. Like, depending on where you're at with that, like, that changed how I look at you, like, kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
Again, if you shut down, I don't fucks with you.
Yeah.
If you kept doing your shit and, like, were precautious and whatever, cool. But if you completely shut down or you're panicking, like...
Right. I got
I'm
a clear
out.
example of a statement that my mother-in-law made. And I call her that because I'm technically still married, but she, you know. Anyway. We were talking about the whole situation where he came out. He was on tape where he said he grabbed someone you could just grab him by the pussy. So I asked her, like, so what are your views on that? Is he not, you know, a misogynist? And her answer was, well, he was talking from a place of, you know, he was talking about things that he had done in the past. He's not that person no more. That's stuff that he used to do, what he was. I was like, so where did you get that out of? He didn't even know he was being recorded. So you telling me like he was just like lying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's things like that people say. It's just like you completely refusing to see.
That's my thing. Like, if you support him and, you know, and like, you know, like I said, if you support him and you honestly think, you know, what he's done is somewhat shitty, but like, you still kind of are like, you know, I'm a Republican and that's the best thing we got because I'm not voting for Biden.
Bro, if I was a Republican, it would still be, I don't know how. I just physically don't know how.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but.
Anybody can think he's done a good job.
Right.
If he gets another term, I'm going to know for sure that there's some going on behind the works, man, because there's just no way you can look at these 4 years and say, he's done a great job managing this country and he deserves 4 more. There's just no way in my mind. No way. I'm sorry.
We just lost like 50 views.
That's fine with me.
Yes, we don't want you. I don't care. I'm not going to talk to you, so it's all good.
All right. Red flags, though.
Last one. I got one more, and it's not an automatic. It's a red flag for sure. It's just a flag. I might take it down, you know.
Right.
But if you smoke cigs.
Ooh.
That's up there for me.
Wow.
Like
it used to be for me as a teenager.
Yeah.
But I started smoking them myself. And then I quit. But I still felt like I was being hypocritical by saying, well, my girl can't smoke.
Right. I dated a couple people who did, and it's not horrible. And like I said, it's not a deal breaker or anything like that. But it just bums me out, man, when I see a chick and I'm like, you know, she's super cool and attractive. And, you know, I think we would get along. And then I see like a post a month in of her smoking, and I'm like,
dang, man, really though.
Like it's not automatic, but it's
right. Pretty.
It's like
pretty.
It's like heavy. A 70% that I'm probably out.
Just going to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's pretty tough.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Just thinking about, I know some women. We all know women smokers, but I honestly don't know a whole crap ton, I guess, compared to males.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's
fair.
a plus.
Yeah.
But, wow, man.
There's a couple exceptions, you know, but yeah, it's.
Wow, pretty strong, huh?
Yeah. And
now,
I can tolerate it.
What if they said, okay, yeah, I actively smoke, but I am trying to quit?
Well, I mean, that, you know, if we went in with that, then it'd probably be all right.
Okay. But you probably need to see that actively happening. You have them trying to.
Not necessarily, though, either. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that would get my foot in the door.
Right.
And I'd be like, all right. And then if something developed and I could tolerate it, then cool. But
right.
It is what it is. Like I said, I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but it's a pretty strong preference.
Yeah. And like I said, when I was a teen, before I got into it, I'd have thought it was just a bad look in general.
Right.
But, yeah. So I get where you're coming from with that.
But that kind of comes into our second topic here. It's something that I just kind of reflected on. There was another podcast I was listening to, and they were just talking about relationships being controlling, right? Okay. And, you know, we kind of got done talking about red flags and things we like and don't like and, you know, things like that. So I was trying to think, like, and just self-reflect a little bit. Am I controlling, or do I just like certain things? You know what I mean? Is there just, certain things that I can tolerate, that I can't? Does that mean, I guess, where's the line? You know what I mean? Where's the line between being labeled as controlling and just liking things a certain way?
If you had to pick a side today, would just say no?
What, that I'm controlling?
That you're not controlling, or?
I would say, because your question confused me, I would say that I am not controlling.
Okay.
Because the reason I say that is because I do like things a certain way, and I like, I am kind of specific in a lot of things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm very specific also. I guess another red flag would be if, like, you don't go out with friends. Like, I want you to go out. I want you to have fun. Like, I want us to be able to have time apart. I don't want you to text me all fucking day. The majority of the time.
Right.
At the beginning, like, that's cool, but, after we develop a relationship or whatever,
and
like,
got to know each other a little
like,
bit. Yeah.
Give us space, especially when we're at work or, whatever. But, no, I don't think I'm controlling, but, like, I want you to go have fun.
Right.
And I want you to hang out with friends, and I want you to, do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Make time for your friends and all that kind of stuff. But, I definitely like things a certain way. But, what would you think to that? What's the line?
Initially, what's the line? I think. Well, first of all, let me say that I think there's a few different types of controlling. There's the physical controlling, like, no, you can't leave. I want you in the house at this time. Dinner better be made at this time.
Right.
Or when I come home. That's physical control. I think there's a version of mind control, too, where you kind of, like, guilt trip.
Right.
Or you indirectly make people feel bad for the things that they're doing. And that's a form of control, in my opinion, where you kind of dictating, well, I don't want to I know this will upset him. I have a feeling he doesn't like this, so therefore I'm not going to do it. Strictly based on that. That's to me, that is, I mean, they're not.
Is that controlling, or is that them being considerate? Like,
I think it can be manipulation.
Well, I guess it depends on the level. You know what I mean? Because if you say, like if me and you are in a relationship, right? Like we want to be.
Yep.
If like you went out with your friends, right?
Yep.
And I said, have a good time, whatever. Like, not guilt tripping at all, right? I'll clean the house, like whatever.
Right.
Like, and you're out with your buddies or whatever, and you say, "Hey, man, it's like 11 o'clock. I'm gonna get home," because I know he doesn't like me to be out that late, right?
Right. That's different. I'm glad you brought up that one. That's not control to me.
But that's consideration, right?
Yes.
You're being considerate.
Yes. I think in that same situation, controlling would be more or less, well, yeah, you can go out with your friends, but I'm probably not going to be up when you get back.
Right. There's a tone to it.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little things you can say to plant the seed that, damn, I'm going to be out, I'm with my homies, I'm supposed to have a good time, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking. I guess
the difference was that consideration your own consideration? Like, were you being considerate yourself, or were you being considerate because there was a seed planted to be considerate?
Right.
I guess that
and
could be what it is.
I think both of them are equally destructive in a relationship. Now, as far as what you said about liking certain things, I think everybody's like that. And I think that, the times are changing. I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I had a conversation with a woman at work I hadn't seen in a few years. But it was crazy, too, because I randomly thought about her out of the blue when I passed a certain aisle, and I seen her there one time. And it was like, I haven't seen her in 3 years. Why did I think about her?
Right.
And then I seen her today, which is...
Was she a ghost?
She was in the flesh. Trust me.
Okay.
She was in the flesh.
All right. Were you in the flesh, though?
You the stupidest motherfucker I know.
Thank you.
But damn, I forgot where I was going with that. Adam.
Sorry.
Times are changing. So I feel like, we had a conversation about and she was like, yeah, you know, like I've never been able to live with somebody else. Like I've had live-in boyfriends here and there, but she's like, at the end of the day, I'll just respect, like I can be in a relationship, but I prefer to have our own places. And I think a lot of people have that sentiment. I kind of feel like I would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if, you know, it'd be cool to live with your girl and all that. I think that's the ultimate goal. But is it necessary for your happiness? I think once kids gets involved, you need to live together.
Yeah.
But if you don't plan on having kids, that never happens. I don't see why you can't have a perfectly healthy relationship living in separate places. And I think the younger generation is, they kind of feel that way in general. Like they don't, it's not all about marriage. And, you know, you hear so many people. I heard somebody say the other day, like, are you married or are you happy? You know what I mean? And that it said a lot to me. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people, there's happily married couples, obviously, but the majority of them be like, yeah, you know, I made this commitment. I'm going to stick to it. But I hate this, this, and this.
Right.
I hate this, this, and this.
Right.
And I think that the younger generation, they don't care so much about getting married. And it's not about, you don't have to put a ring on it, per se, to have a deep relationship or to show that you're committed to one individual. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people can live separate, you know, these days and still, you know, have...
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would work for like me. You know, I don't think I would necessarily mind that. And we don't have to go into this, you know, deep of it, but I think living separately would kind of come down to like your sex drive.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Because like if you're trying to, you know, fuck every night, like,
right?
Are you telling me you're gonna fucking dip every night?
Every night though.
Like, hey, I'm gonna go back to my place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
So
right.
if you don't need that as often,
I guess,
then,
yeah. I can see myself easily being in a situation though where I'm there at her house for a couple of days. I got clothes that I normally keep there. I got a toothbrush there maybe.
Right.
But you know what I mean? If I get off work and I'm tired and I'm like, I'm gonna just go home and watch the NBA game tonight.
Right.
Hit me up. Call me if you want to, but I'll talk to you later.
But you know those streets are going to just slowly merge and merge and merge.
I mean, if it works out that way,
Right.
yeah. I just my biggest point was I feel like today's generation, the 20-somethings, they don't feel as strongly about having to live together and like that whole traditional family relationship
Right.
thing.
Right.
You know, it's really going out the window. You know, people are so open these days to everything. Everything.
Yeah.
It is not how it used to be.
It is not the 80s anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
So with that, kind of a follow-up, I mean, it's, again, along the same lines, but, you know, we both know what we want kind of in a spouse. You know, for me, it's Jerry, but a female version. But
wouldn't that be fucking amazing?
we have
My friend Ross told me, like, he's like, he tells me all the time when we're drunk, like, you was a girl, you know, I try to fuck you.
dude. That's literally me. Me and Jerry say all the time. We've said it since 6th grade. If one of us was a woman, we would fuck all the time. Like, I swear, we've been saying that for
From 6th
going on
grade.
15 years now.
Woo!
Yep.
5th graders.
Yep.
With
Hey.
hard-ons.
Horde. Not even intentional.
That's funny, though. Yeah.
But
To
go along with that though, like, so we know kind of things that we like, what we don't. You know, we like things a certain way and maybe a certain type of look or an attitude or you know whatever.
Right,
There's a
right.
lot of specifics that we like.
Right.
Is that us being selfish, or again, is it okay to just like things a certain way, or are we being selfish or shallow even because you know I might not date a person that smokes cigarettes, but other than that, they're perfect for me.
I feel like I'm shallow as fuck.
Okay.
I'm gonna be all the way real with you. There's some
Okay.
shit that I think sometimes, or I have like double standards. Like some girls, I have certain traits, and I'll be like, nah. But another person could have the same traits, but a trait that I desire, like it's high on my list, and I'm
Right.
willing to tolerate
Right.
that trait I don't like just because she has this one. You know what I mean? So
It's hard,
yeah,
man.
it really
It's
is.
hard, but yeah, I'm a firm believer in, you know, especially in relationships being, or I mean, really in life in general, being selfish. But and we've talked about this on a previous episode. Being selfish has such a negative connotation,
It does,
and it doesn't have to.
It does not.
Like, I can be selfish and not a dick at the same
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Like, but I know
Yes.
what I want. I know what I can tolerate. I know, and that's just me knowing myself.
Mm-hmm.
But again, is that selfish? Is that shallow? Or is that just knowing what you want?
Right. I think first and foremost, we come into this planet on our own. We're gonna die alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at us, to a point, you have to consider yourself first.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's hard,
Flat out
man.
it.
Like, we both have kids, right?
No,
So
yeah.
obviously I think I could speak for you on this. Like, our kids come first, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But like, our kids are like 1.0, right? Number
Yep.
one. I'm like 1.03.
Yes.
Like, I'm right the fuck there.
yes.
Because
Yes.
if I'm not happy, that's going to reflect on her or,
Right.
your sons or whatever. Like,
right.
it comes down to obviously looking out for our kids, but if it doesn't affect them, the next thing is me. Like,
right.
I've
Right.
even told my parents that. Like, like,
Ooh.
and like, how I
They
am
have to
though.
respect it,
I'm
though,
just,
yeah.
I'm just real. Like,
Right.
and I told him, like, I don't, like, I respect you guys a lot, but I don't care about your opinions. Like, and
Yeah.
that's not a disrespect thing.
Right.
It's not. It sounds like
Right.
it, but
Right.
your opinions have no relevance of how I'm
Right.
going to live my life.
Right.
And that's
In the sense of I don't look to your approval for me to be happy.
Right.
Right.
because it comes down to what I want.
Yes.
If
Yes.
if it's what I want and everybody in the family doesn't want that, go
Yeah.
fuck yourself. Don't
Right.
care.
Right.
Like,
Right.
but if it's not what I want and I do what they want, I'm going to be miserable.
Exactly.
And it's, so I'm a firm believer in being selfish, but again, it's not a negative selfish,
right,
I guess.
Right. And that kind of goes back to what, you and Jerry said and what my friend says about me, if you was a female version of that, because you have so many similarities. You don't have to compromise so much on what you want because they do what you want.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what you want.
His knees are rug burned and everything. Sorry. I can't help
I
myself.
can't. I want to see Jerry watch this one. But yeah, that's what you want. If you could, that's the best of both worlds.
Right.
Like, because I feel like in a relationship anyway, you have to compromise something.
Right.
Or it's not going to work. If everybody was completely selfish, but y'all are going to be together, y'all both going to be miserable as shit.
Right.
There's things that you have to compromise on. Like, I don't really
Right.
want to do this, or I don't really like this, but she doesn't like when I do this. And I ain't about to stop doing that.
Right. Well, that's the other thing too. Like,
You
that's
know?
that's not on, that's not on anything that we were planning to discuss. But there's, to go along with that, the other side of the coin is being pussy whipped
Right.
versus, just, again, being
I think
considerate.
some people are happy pussy whipped, though. They love it. They
Right.
love, catering to their whoever, and,
Right.
it
But I just think
just depends on what
I
makes you
don't
happy.
think there's such. I mean, I guess there is, but to me, like, even my friends or whatever, like, they'll be like, "Oh, you're pussy whipped. You're not coming out tonight or whatever."
Man,
I'm like,
miss me
dude,
with that shit.
it's a
dude.
compromise. Like,
Right. Exactly.
like,
exactly.
like she let me, like, quote
Right.
unquote,
Right.
go out
Right.
2 nights in a row. Tonight I'm gonna say it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't have to,
Right.
but I'm a compromise. I know she wants me to. And
Exactly.
it's just the right thing
For
to
the
do.
sake of this relationship
Right.
that I want to be in working.
Right. Right.
My bad.
Right.
I got to
And
do what I got to do.
It's it's compromise, and it's all just such a fine line. Like,
is.
do you be selfish? Do you be shallow? Do you compromise? Do you compromise too much?
Right.
Do you avoid or overlook that red flag, or do you count them out because of it? Like,
Right.
there's just so many things,
variables, man.
especially now. Like you said, times are changing, man. Like, there's so many, to be honest with you, more options.
Right.
Right? If you
Oh
think
my
of the
God,
70s,
right.
80s, like, you
Holy
got,
shit.
safely, we'd say your county, right? You
Right.
have your about county is the max you're going to get,
Right.
right? That's the farthest you're going to meet anybody,
Right.
and get to know them really well.
Right.
Now, I mean, it's across the world,
Right,
really.
dude.
Like, it's probably
Yeah.
a guy that looks like me, but a little sweatier in a chair,
Right.
on the internet. But you never know. It could be a real, Russian swimsuit model. But my point is, like, just the amount of people that you can be with or get to know or date or whatever, or have just a relationship with,
Right.
is so much. The pool is so much bigger that I think now you can be a little more selfish, because eventually you're gonna find them.
Okay.
And for me, this is just me personally. If I don't find them, don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like,
I don't mind being single.
right.
There's perks to a relationship, shit that you're not going to get being alone. But at the end of the day, I'm not desperate or thirsty for it, man.
Right.
Real quick though, we have to move on. I don't know how much time we've been doing this.
We're at 45.
Holy
Yeah.
shit!
I
That
told
was a
you.
quick 45.
I told you we were gonna rant.
Listeners, it's all good conversation though. So real quick before we move on to this album review,
Yep.
do you believe then in soulmates? Do you believe that there's one person? And to me, that whole philosophy has to do with like God and higher powers and shit, which, you know, I claim I'm not a fan of, which will automatically kind of throw this out the window in that sense. But I don't know. I wonder sometimes. Like some days I feel like there might be one person out there that everybody, like, y'all just fit like a puzzle. That bitch might be in Brazil somewhere though.
Right.
Like and the chances of me finding her,
So
if I had to guess, no, not happening.
Yeah.
Or is it just a game of random chance and circumstances? Like, do we settle almost
oh yeah.
with somebody that, you know, yeah, I like her, but, you know, we're 80% compatible. Why not try? I mean, actually, that's pretty damn good.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody you're 40% compatible with, though, do you stick that out like it's working? But maybe there's somebody out there that 80%, 90% compatible with. Is that even a thing?
I mean, it is a thing just mathematically. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's gonna be somebody out there. As far as like the legitimate theory that there's somebody out there for you, I don't believe that directly. I do believe there's probably 100 perfect matches for you out there somewhere. But the likelihood you're gonna meet them is like under 1%, way under 1%,
yeah,
probably.
right.
So,
Because 90% of them are probably in relationships.
right. Because the thing, I mean, it comes back to what you're willing to settle with, what you're able to overlook, what you're able to, you know, kind of just brush off and things like that. And that all depends on your mood and where you are in life and certain things. Like, I don't know about you, but for me, like, there's certain people I dated or I was with, you know, at a certain period in my life, and it was cool and it was fun. But now there's no fucking way I would have done that.
Yeah.
I don't regret it. You know, at the time it was fun and it was cool and all that's good. But, you know, my point is it just comes down to where you are in life, where you are with, you know, your kind of mental health, I guess. You know what I mean?
That's a huge
there's
part of it.
there's a lot of, I'm trying not to get too specific here, but there's a lot of like, you know, I guess things that you could regret in the past,
Right.
you know, because you overlooked something, or maybe you didn't date that person because you were too serious about that red flag, and now you don't really care about that red flag because you
missed
grew
your
up a little
window.
bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And you missed your window.
So,
Right.
I mean, I do think there's quote unquote soulmates out there. I don't think there's one. I think you could find 500 of them.
Okay.
That would be all in that 90% range.
Right.
But again, at the same time, maybe that one smoked cigs.
Right.
Maybe I brushed her off when we were 18 and now we're 30.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, but I was a dick to her when we were
Right.
18 and that's over.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just,
Right. There's so much to think about.
yeah, there's so many different
So
things. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Good talk.
Yeah, good shit. So the last thing we wanted to do was an album review. We haven't done one of these in a little while.
It's been a minute.
Let me actually pull it up because I kind of forget what the album's called.
Oh.
I know it's R.A. the Rugged Man.
Yes.
All
my heroes are dead.
Right. That's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah.
It just came out, like a month ago?
I don't know. You just was playing it in the car one day and told me
Yeah,
to check it out.
It's definitely recent, but RA is April 17th is when it came out.
Okay.
So 2
2
weeks
weeks
ago,
ago, not even a
basically.
month.
Yeah. R.A. the Rugged Man is basically a legend in the hip hop community, as far as, in the 90s and kind of things like that, which I wasn't listening to hip hop then.
Yeah.
You were, but not, I guess, not this kind of hip hop.
Right.
But R.A. is really respected in the hip hop community, and you'd never heard of him.
No.
So I definitely wanted to do this album review because I think he's personally, I don't want to say GOAT or anything like that, but as far as talent and stuff, I would probably put him top 10, top 15-ish area. Pretty respectable as far as lyrics and flows and things like that. So, and we'll get into all that in a minute. But from your perspective as a first-time listener, what did you think of this album? I know it's long. It's 22 tracks.
Yes. So I broke my review down into what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. The first thing, nice bars throughout it. Definitely a lyricist, top to bottom. I mean, every track. And there's a bunch of features too, but he's bringing the heat.
Right.
Yeah, and there's some nice lines throughout it. A lot of stuff that made me laugh, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told you in the car the one day, the dude stays dissing himself.
Right.
But
right.
there's context to it all.
Yep.
Nothing he says really is just random shit. There's a reason why he says what he says throughout the whole thing. Lots of quality guest verses, which is rare. I can't think of an album that had as many guest verses as this one does, but they're all good. Like all the guest verses on it.
Right.
And there's a lot, but they're all as far as, they bring the bars just like he do.
Yeah, I know, like Immortal Techniques on there, Vinny Paz, Chuck D.
Yeah. And a lot of the songs have multiples. Like the
Right.
ones that do have them have like 3 or 4, which is fine.
Right.
But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with the quality of the features, the what they brought to the album.
Okay.
Very long.
Very long. Yep.
It's I think it's cohesive, which I'm big on that. I'm big on the album sounding like I could tell it's from the same CD. You don't have a bunch of different type of beats or different type of. I like different types of vibes, but there's a spectrum. You know what I mean? I like you to stay within a mile or so, I guess, of a 10-mile.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know how else to say that.
I like that. There's kind of like a pendulum. Like
Right.
You can go different directions,
Right.
but it's gotta
Right.
kind of come back
Right.
eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I'm big on cohesive, especially with albums. But like as far as the long thing, I was thinking maybe the times are changing with that too, because I feel like lately there's a lot of people dropping long albums, and with the streaming era, and with people not dropping as often as they used to, because of there's just the market is just so saturated with
It really is,
with artists, good and bad, great and awful.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think people are probably. I mean, it would be kind of smart maybe to go to that point where when you drop an album, you got 20 plus songs on it, because it might be a while. And plus, with the streaming era, nobody really listens to full albums like that anyway.
Right.
I mean, you do. I don't know too many people though. They have playlists.
Right.
They don't have like albums like they
Right.
used to. You don't pop a CD in no more and just listen to one person, take it out, put another artist in. Like there's playlists
True.
now of stuff. So to have a bunch of songs out, I think you'd reach more playlists, And I noticed that anyway with myself. There's a lot of, especially outside of rap. And I know we're getting off topic. I'll get back on it. Especially outside of rap though. Like there's a lot of artists that I like, but I don't like their album. I might take a song or two from this artist, a song or two from that artist. And then next thing I know, I got a playlist of 150 songs, 30 different artists, but none of their, like maybe 1 or 2 tracks from each single one of them. And I think that's the direction we're going. So I don't want to knock him for having a long album. I think that's the age we're in.
Right.
To be honest.
I will say I was talking to somebody about the Game's last album, Born to Rap.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a good. I didn't even think of that one. That's a great example.
I was like, it's a long album, and
That's a great example.
and we were talking, and I looked, and it's 25 tracks. I knew it was long, but I was thinking 21, 22. It's 25
That's
tracks.
a long. That sounds like a double disc.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I said it's basically twice the album, and it's so hard for me to just sit and listen to it all in a row,
Right.
and then not kind of more or less get bored with it towards the end and
Right.
just want something new.
Right. And that's what I struggle with on this album, but I'll get to that in my cons. The biggest, the last pro I have is that he's very good at being conscious without sounding preachy.
Okay.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
Yep.
there's a lot of conscious things on this album. Some songs that you don't want to listen to in certain moods, but I think it's needed. And he's definitely socially aware of, mental illnesses and,
Right.
abusive relationships.
Right.
And he's able to reflect on his own life and where he came from as being a 45, 46-year-old man now and what he used to be and, things like that. But it doesn't sound like he's a protesting or being preachy about it. You know what I
Right.
mean? He did a really good job of interlocking the two.
Right.
You
Well,
know.
yeah. Let me go over my pros then
Okay.
while we're on pros. I honestly didn't write anything down for these, but definitely lyrics, bars, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, probably top 10, top 15. I would say top 15 lyricists, at least in my opinion. Just different flows. He does every single style you can think of. But then just being aware of situations, and he kind of calls everybody out, like left and right wing,
Right.
but with reason and real examples and specifics, and also makes it rhyme and
Right.
and interlock and things like that. And like you said, it's a pretty deep album at some points. When we were kind of just chilling and listening to it and not diving into it, but just chilling, I would skip a couple songs.
Yeah.
And that was before you listened to the whole thing.
Right.
And I was waiting for you to ask, but you never did. But I was skipping them because they're too deep.
Yeah.
For us just chilling,
Yeah.
it's gonna bring down the mood and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
And they're great songs, but yeah, he definitely gets deep and thoughtful and
Yeah.
everything like that. But with that said, I think it's a very balanced album. As far as going hard and calling people out, and then being soft, and then talking about his daughter, and then talking about killing people, and then
Right.
talking about politics, and then
Right.
talking about overthrowing the government, but also loving each other.
I see that.
And it's
right. Yeah.
it's kind of, it sounds like it's all over the place, but it's not.
It's not.
And it's
not.
very balanced and cohesive, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it. As far as what I didn't like, Too Long for One Sitting,
Yeah.
which I think we kind of broke that down, why
Right.
that is, and possibly I think it's just a different time.
I'm thinking 14 tracks is about the longest I like. And then you can add an interlude or two,
Right.
make it 16, 17.
Yeah.
But 14 actual tracks,
Right.
13, 14, that's about
Right. Yeah.
max for me.
Yeah. And like I said, in one sitting.
Right.
Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? I don't mind breaking out people's albums down over days or so, but if you want, I think after that long, you start to get tired of that one specific artist or whatever. Yeah, so there was times because of that I wasn't compelled to keep listening. It's like I kind of, about track, 14, 15, it was like I wanted to take a break, but I had to finish it for the review.
Right.
So,
right.
but there was times where I was just like, yeah, I like it, but it's just too long. And I think a lot of that is just my impatience with things these days. I'm just, the older I get, I swear, the
Right.
more impatient I am with stuff.
Well, let me actually bring this up real quick, since
Okay.
we're kind of talking about the length of the album. Do you think the length of the album was conditioned by us because we only had CDs that could only hold so much?
Ooh.
I just thought of that because I was like, literally, that's multiple CDs. The CD won't fit this whole album on it. But now that they're streaming, you have the liberty of making your album
Right.
kind of as long as you want. But is
Right.
that us? Because I'm kind of curious,
Yes, but no, because you always had the ability to make a double disc. A lot of people have done that.
Yeah, but a double disc, to pull that out of the CD player and then put the second disc
People
in,
did it for Tupac.
It's Tupac, though.
Oh, this is, you claim RA is a legend.
Yeah, I mean, I
So-
guess, but
I mean,
I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Damn, man, chill. Relax, dude. I'm not trying to fight on camera, but I will knock your ass out. Shine.
That's an interesting point, though. Yeah, are we putting that limitation on it?
Right.
Are we the ones you mean like, hey,
I wonder if younger people care about album length.
Right.
If anybody's like 24, 23 or younger and you're listening to this, let us know if, long albums kind of turn you away or if
I'm
you
trying to
love
think
them.
of the last double disc I could think of was Drake. Scorpion was double disc, but I heard nobody complaining about that.
Yeah.
Nobody complained about how it was 25 tracks too.
But everybody streamed it though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking because like the younger generation like kind of grew up with streaming. Like
Right.
I kind of grew up with streaming. I'm 28, and it came along when I was probably 18, 19, the or maybe even younger than that, maybe like 14, 15 when the bigger MP3 players,
Right.
you can hold multiple things, and I think that's where it started. But people younger than me, like that shit came out when they were 8 or 9. So
True.
that's all they knew.
Right. That is
their
childhood.
And then by the time they're 14, 15, there's Apple Music and
Right.
Spotify and whatever.
Yeah.
So just curious, just a thought. Any other cons you had for the album?
It's not a classic in my opinion.
Okay.
As much as he touches everything, and it's a well put together album. I wouldn't put it in classic territory, but I can't exactly put my finger on why. I just feel like for me personally, it's not something that's gonna get a ton of play, but it's definitely a good CD. He definitely deserves all the acclaim he gets.
Right.
For being in where he's at, because dude is phenomenal. Like some of the flows, I think he can go toe to toe with Eminem. Which
You heard it here first.
I feel like M is the greatest rapper alive. So I feel like if R.A. and Eminem jumped on the track, it would be bananas.
See, and that's how I put like to kind of get off topic, like Royce and stuff. Like I don't ever say that they're better than M, but what I say is they could keep up.
Yeah,
They could keep up, and it wouldn't be obvious that they're getting blown out.
Right. And R.A.
He can
one
keep
of
up.
the 5 maybe
Right.
that could do that.
Right.
I can confidently say
Well,
that.
actually, the way I found Locksmith, which is another guy that we put in that category,
Right.
is from R.A.
Okay.
Because they had that song together that I showed you.
Yep.
And that was the first time I ever heard Locksmith. And that's called, I think, House of Cards, or House of Cards 2, maybe,
Okay.
by Locksmith and R.A. But I was on a big R.A. kick a couple years ago, and, it popped up on my YouTube, and I was like, who the fuck's this guy?
Right.
And then Locksmith blew me the fuck out of the water, and then started listening to him, and,
Yeah.
and we've talked about him a couple times. But
yes.
definitely a couple of the best lyricists there are, for sure, potentially all time.
He's good. Now, how many albums does he have? Because he's 46, so he's probably been around a good at least 20, 25 years.
Yeah, I know.
I had never heard of him prior to you.
Yeah, I don't know how many albums he's had because I know, and he touched on it in the album, that he had a lot of kind of mental health going on,
Right.
issues going on, and he got deals taken away from him because of things he did, and
Right.
I don't know much of the backstory, but I know he's got at least probably 4, 5 albums,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. But he hasn't released one in a while though.
Okay.
So
Right.
cool.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely check that out. That's
Oh yeah, my 3 favorite tracks for the people who
Okay.
might want to check out some. The Big Snatch is
Yep.
is pretty funny.
Yep.
I like that one. All Systems Go. I love the way he just bounced on that beat. I really like that one. And Contradictionary.
Yep.
Which, he pointed out a lot of real life contradictions that
Right.
us dumbass Homo sapiens do.
Right.
Like, it make total fucking sense. Like,
Right.
I completely agree
And-
with that. So,
To be clear, we were probably gonna play that as the outro song,
Yeah.
Contradictionary, because we both like that a lot. But he just starts with like pussy shit, fuck, like
it will give you the wrong impression
Yes.
of this person with trying to claim
Right.
that's in the top 5.
Right.
10, 15
Yeah,
lyricists.
he's pretty hostile on
Yeah.
that song. So,
Yeah.
but again, valid points and things like that.
Yeah. Not a good intro track, though. I agree.
Yeah. Now this next one, I mean, it's not. I don't know how to describe it. It's your 4th favorite.
Right. If I had to pick a 4th, that would have been it.
It's probably my favorite on the album. It's Malice of Mammon.
Yeah. Toward the end of that one.
Yep, and we'll play that as the outro here. But That's definitely my favorite. And I don't know, man. I really like Firstborn a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would put that in my favorite just because I skip it a lot.
Oh, okay.
I skip it a lot
You do?
because it's about his daughter
It's
and how
a
he's
sentimental
changed.
song.
And
Yeah, I get that.
yeah.
I
And
get
at the
that.
end, he tells her to
Right.
knock dudes out if they get
Right.
too close, and
Right.
so
Gouge the eyes.
yeah, which is fair. But yeah, we're gonna play Malice of Mammon at the end here. But yeah, guys, we appreciate you checking out episode 41.
Yes.
I can't believe we're on 41 already. Second ever YouTube video. So if you're watching this, please subscribe. Give us a rating on Apple. I think we're up to 39.
Yep.
Perfect 5-star ratings.
Yep. Give us 2 more. 41 episodes, 41 perfect ratings.
There we go.
Let's do it. Let's
Would
do
love
it.
to see that. But yeah, guys, this is Malice of Mammon by R.A. the Rugged Man. And, other than that, guys, I do hope you have a good night. Good night.
First show. We out.
Money make the globe turn. Money make the globe turn.
Rich.
Money make the globe turn. Money make the globe turn. I
Power
get
to
money.
override government by corporate elitists. The corporations write laws that government keeps secret. Private prisons keep you in damn chains while funding legislators, judges, and presidential campaigns. Government propaganda appear pompous, but science is not science when theories is funded by fearmongers. Warmongering and profiting off of corpses is morbid. The poor get deported, the middle class get extorted. It's corporate. The criminals are those the IRS won't audit. Ponzi scheme make the cake off it. Bernie made off it. We celebrate giving thanks, having parades at Macy's while we invade lands, bomb hospitals, and kill babies. Mutilate human life, make hate, lie, take, rob, steal, or break, kidnap, murder, rape for the money.
Money make the globe turn. Money make the globe turn.